bearing and distances. Now, we already know about distances. When you travel from point A down to point B, I would say it's 5 kilometers. So that's a distance. Now, another thing we also studied in geography or basic science are the 4 cardinal points. You have the north, you have the south, you have the east, and the west. So beyond knowing the 4 cardinal points, north, south, east, and west, we should also know how to position them on a compass. So let's have this as a reference point. Our north is up, south, east, and west. So the easiest way to remember, north, south is down, then east come from your right, east, and west. So again, let's take it north, south, east, and west. Okay, so one important point you should also know is that all of them are separated by 90 degrees. From north to east, 90 degrees, south east to east is 90 degrees, south to west 90 degrees, and west to north is 90 degrees. So mean that all the from north, south, east, and west forms angle at a point, which gives us 360 degrees. So northeast now means any points between the north and the east, any points around there. Southeast, any points around there. And southwest, same thing. Then northwest is the same thing. Now, what's our business with this bearing in mathematics? Okay, now let's look at something like this. And it says, if the bearing of x from y is 238 degrees, find the bearing of y from x. How do you represent this mathematically? It says, if the bearing of x from y, so y tells you that that's the point you are considering from y. If the bearing of x from y, so let's go to y and draw 238 degrees. So here is 90, here is 180, and up to here is 270. So 238 should be somewhere here. So that tells us that, so this is our point y. So that tells us that our x should be, so this angle is 238 degrees. So that tells us that x should be somewhere here. If the bearing of x from y is 238 degrees, find the bearing of y from our point x. So this is our point x. Let's draw our charts. So this is 238 degrees. What is the bearing of y from x? So the bearing is this angle here. Let's call it theta. So from our angles, you remember we said opposite angles are equal. This equal to this, or this equals to this equals this. If you remember, then alternate angles like what we have here, this equals this point. So that's something like this. We have two lines running this way. So this angle equals this angle. Okay, and that's because this angle equals this opposite one, and these are corresponding, this and this, so they are all equal. So that means if here is theta, that means this bit also is theta. And if here is theta and this side is 180 degrees, angle on a straight line is 180 degrees, therefore theta will now be 238 minus 180. So 238 minus 180 gives us 8, 1 here, 5, and that is 58 degrees. So this angle here equals 58 degrees, and that is our final answer. Okay, now let's consider another example. And it says a village is 8 kilometers on a bearing of 40 degrees from a point R. Calculate how far the village is north of R. Now let's take it gradually. A village is 8 kilometers on a bearing of 40 degrees from a point R. So this is our point R. 40 degrees from R. So let's This is not 40 degrees, should be somewhere here. So a village, this is the village, is 8 kilometers. And this is our 40 degrees. On a bearing of 40 degrees from a point, I'll calculate how far the village is. So let's say this is the village now. Calculate how far the village is north of R. So this is north of R. We'll extend it to this point. So to find this distance, let's call the distance X. So mathematics will apply everything we've done in the past. This is a triangle. Here is 40 degrees. Here is 8 degrees. And this is our opposites. So opposite, and we'll have our hypotenuse because this is a 90 degree. So opposite and hypotenuse, what are we going to use? Opposite SOHCAHTOA. So we'll have it as sine 40 equals opposite, which is x, all over hypotenuse, and that is 8. So that means our x equals 8 times sine 40. So what is sine 40? Let's open our calculator. I'll type 40, press the sign, 0.64, then times 8 equals 5.142. So the distance we're looking for equals 5.142 kilometers, and that is our final answer. So calculating bearing is just as simple as what I've just done. Now I want you to click on Start Quiz and answer all the questions following.